Hey everybody, my name is Chauncey and welcome to another episode of Accidental Isolation, where I like to bring on a guest to talk about a moment in their life where they may have been isolated, whether that be physically, mentally, or emotionally. This podcast is to give listeners an opportunity to listen to guest stories and realize how common it is to be stuck in accidental isolation. Today we have Shekinah, former college athlete from Aiken, South Carolina. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Appreciate you coming on, give me just a little bit of your time today to speak about, your accidental isolation. Go ahead and give the people just like a little bit of background about you, like where you from, what your upbringing was about.
Okay. I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. I grew up with both of my parents in the household. They are preachers, so I'm a PK, or a preacher's kid. We grew up in Aiken, and it's not really too much to do down there. So, I kind of was always immersed in sports or something, so my parents could get me out the house and, keep me involved and keep me active. So I started with like gymnastics, and I ended up with track. So we stuck with that up until college. I graduated North Greenville in 2019, and I ended up staying in Greenville for about a year after that, starting my first big girl job at Verizon. And then shortly after that, I was introduced to trading and the multi-level marketing industry, and I began to get a little immersed in that. And after that, we moved to Charlotte, and I've been up here for about a year and a half, still trading, no more MLM, of course. And it's been great ever since. So, it's a journey. We're still learning, we're still growing, but I'm liking it up here.
Yeah, I bet, man. They uptown Charlotte, man. They living good. But yeah, so me and Shekinah, we went to school together. And I just know she has a great story, and I hope you guys, gain something from it. So, me and you, we spoke before, and the definition of accidental isolation. We kind of talking, you kind of know what it's about. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
My accidental isolation was, very lonely, isolated. So it was very lonely. It was a very rough period, and it was actually when we first moved to Charlotte, which would be last year. We were in the MLM space, and if y'all don't know, that's multi-level marketing combined with Forex. So I started off trading, and we were learning with different mentors who were in the MLM space, but a lot of them were a little more focused on bringing people in, and we wanted to make sure people were actually learning the skill because we saw the value in it. Like, you're able to really make money from your phones. It was able to help a lot of African Americans out of certain situations that before they wouldn't really know how to maneuver, and they didn't know a different way other than sports or music or, the common things that we're introduced to. So it was nice to learn something different in the financial market and something that was a little easier to pick up on, because I think it's a stigma thinking it's so hard or it's so crazy to do, but it's really not. And we started trading Forex, which is the foreign exchange market. We're day trading, we're trading currency. So whenever the market goes up or down, we're buying and selling. And I like that aspect of it because you don't have to watch the stock market drop and watch your assets drop. You can just sell it and go along and make your profits with it. But once we came to Charlotte and moved up here, everything seemed like it was on the up and up. Like, I left my job, and just a little quick thing, I tell my parents everything. And I knew when I didn't call them and tell them that I quit my job, that I probably shouldn't have quit my job. Because I knew they were going to say no. Yeah, because you need to have a plan. And I had a little bit of a plan, but not enough plan to take that leap yet. And if anybody else is thinking about leaving your job, be very sure that you have a lot stacked up and that you have a fallback in case there's a dry season, in case anything, especially if you're an entrepreneur in a business. So just make sure that you are doing it the smart way and that you feel 100% at peace with your decision, which I knew I didn't, but I kind of just trucked through it anyway because I felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in the MLM space, and they're leaving their job. It's my turn, so I can have this nice story. And I kind of was getting caught up more so in what
others are doing.
Yeah, and what people would think of me, like, oh, you're supposed to be making all this money, so why are you still working?
Especially with social media too, and then like you said, in the market you in, obviously everyone knows that there was a lot of stigma around it.
Exactly.
It's working for you anyway,
exactly.
But there was a stigma around it, so you didn't want to be known because you put your face like, you know what I'm saying, y'all got your own business now, Blueface Affiliate. You put your face on this product, and you don't want people to look at you like, oh, you know, they got all this, but they living like this. So you do want to upkeep some type of image, only because of social media. Because without social media, no one would see your image. You know?
I got caught up in the image, and I never was like a social media type girl. My boyfriend can tell you, he used to always just say my page was trash, and it was because I didn't know what to post, and I just post what I liked. I just thought that's how it worked. I didn't care if I got 10 likes or 100. I didn't care. I was just like, I like this, I'm posting it. So I started to get a little more caught up in showing people that I was making the money and showing people that I was living a lifestyle, and we were getting there, but I wasn't fully there yet. And I was just trying to skip steps, pretty much. I was trying to skip steps in order to try to bring people in, but not even in a trickery way, because we take trading serious. Like anybody that comes to our program, we're gonna make sure you know what you're doing, and you actually want learning the skill, because that's serious to us. But we know to bring people in that people are visual creatures, and that people base what they see on what they think of you. And that's just the way the world is when you come down to it. So it has to be a balance, and I kind of got off balance of letting
you took what they saw more important than what was actually going on.
Exactly. And so when we came up here, it was just, so ready to tell the story. We moved to Uptown Charlotte and quit the job and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, that's when everything kind of started to change. Everything started to kind of shift. Like the multi-level marketing company that we were with, done. Like it was over. They were like, oh no, like the company's over. We're not, like it's done. So a check gone. Like a nice check gone. And trading is going well, it's going decent, but it was still like a big adjustment to try to take away one source of income and just solely depend on trading, because trading is more mindset than anything. Like I knew the skill, like I knew what direction I thought price was going in, and 9 times out of 10 I was right, but my mindset and my greed and my lack of accountability and my lack of patience when it came to executing some trades. FOMO, fear of missing out, like it all made me lose money. And I was just like, well, I know what the market's doing. Like I started to kind of put the blame on other things too. Like, dang God, I know I ain't listening to you, but you ain't gotta take my money. Like, come on now. And it was all me. Like I was just trying to find a reason of why is this happening, but it was really because I didn't listen and I didn't seek any guidance, and I literally just made that decision 100% based off of what I wanted to do and what I thought people would see once they saw me doing it. And it wasn't the best decision, but it did force me to, get right quickly, which, I guess that can be a good and a bad thing, but I didn't have to go through a lot of what I went through if I just would have been more patient and not really cared what people thought of me. Like, I don't really care now because, like, I know how my bills are getting paid. So if you don't, that's on you. I've gotten to a place where I'm way better now. But the accidental isolation period was when that multi-level marketing company went out and trading wasn't going as well, and bills still needed to be paid, and things still needed to be done. So, and
every entrepreneur can attest to this. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's going to have your ups and downs. So it's not just a simple thing with trading. Like, that's with every business. Like, you might be up one day and down one day.
Right.
And like you said, like maybe if you would have, spoke with some other people, got some guidance to set down a real plan and had like a community around you, when things did go bad, like the MLM, something she couldn't control. Like, she can control her trading. Like she said, most of the time she could be right, but FOMO, fear of missing out, or just trading with emotion would mess her up, right? And those are things she can control. But like her losing that source of income with the multi-level marketing, she can't control that, So it's like, there's nothing she could do about that. Yeah, so when the market, once that company went down, what happened after that?
I just went into a dark spiral. Like, I didn't want to reach out to anyone because I felt like I made the decision on my own, so I got to fix it on my own. And I felt like ashamed because I felt like I'm making all these promises to my parents, and like I want to retire them and I want to repay them for everything that they've done and how they invested in me, and just how they're amazing people. So I was like, I'm feeling them. And I'm 24 at the time. Like, I'm like, 23, 24 at the time. So I'm like, I'm feeling. Like, I'm just feeling and I don't know what to do. And throughout life, like, and my mom can attest to this, like, when I was younger, one of the people at the church, before I was even born, she was just like, I had a dream and I just saw that anything that she touches is going to come to her pretty easily. Like, God is going to pretty much keep his hand on her. And I had that all the way out there throughout my life. And I felt like at that moment that God had took his hand off me when it was really vice versa. Like, I took my hand off him because I felt like I got this. Like, I'm going to make this decision and I'm going to be the entrepreneur and I'm going to have the comeback of the century and just all these things in your head instead of just admitting, look, I don't know what I'm doing right now. And I didn't know what I was doing. So I was confused and I started to really question my purpose, especially if you're, if you're a trader and like everybody goes through those periods where you lose money. And it makes you want to quit sometimes because you're like, am I supposed to be doing this? But it's a part of it because you have to learn something out of it or you're going to keep repeating that same cycle of losing money if you don't get the lesson out of it. Like, you can lose and then win one day, then lose, but you still are doing the same thing every single time. So you have to learn from it. And I just felt like I was maybe in the wrong place. Maybe I was doing the wrong thing. Maybe I was in the wrong profession. Maybe I wasn't supposed to start trading. Like, I just started questioning every single thing that was going on around me. And it was so many people around me because of like the MLM space. Like, I can remember vividly for my birthday, it was maybe 100 people out at our pool just there for me. And I was so like out of it. Like, I was having such a good time, but I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't want to be around this right now. Like, I'm just like, because in my head, I'm like, this is not working. Like, I don't really have that much money right now, and I'm out here just, and I just felt like it was a good time. I was like happy to, I guess, be celebrated, but
you appreciated them all.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but at the same time, it was just like, this isn't where I'm supposed to be right now. Like, I felt so behind. I felt like I was pretty much just living a lie. Like, I feel like I was just selling the facade to social media, and it wasn't really happening in real life for me. Like, it would happen sometimes. Like, if I post profits, those were the profits. But I probably lost them the next week. Like, to be honest. So it was just a really rough time, and I kind of separated myself from everybody, even my boyfriend, and he lives here. Like, I just was in my head so much, and I would be in bed, like, I didn't want to do anything because with the MLM, like, I knew what I had to do. I got to get up, I got to call people, I got to do a call tonight, I got to make a schedule. So when that kind of went down, I was like, oh, so what does my day look like now? Like, what? I don't have these people that are necessarily, like, depending on me. And we were still teaching people how to trade regardless of the MLM. But it was just, I was just really at a loss of what to do now. And so I just got in a really dark place where I didn't do nothing.
I definitely. So just real quick for example. So like when you were with MLM, what was a day like? And then once that shut down, what did a day turn into? Like, what was those days like?
So when I was with MLM, it was like up in the morning, like, let's get on social media, show my face, make a post. We're trading. We're in a group chat. I probably had to talk to at least 5 or 10 people throughout the day. Some to talk them out of quitting, some to talk to about joining. Make sure that I'm promoting and posting. Then I would try to go out and talk to people. Like, I would be like, give myself a challenge of, okay, let's just talk to 5 random people today about Forex, about trading, and see how if they want to get involved. And then it would be making a call schedule so that we could educate on trading at night or even psychology at night. Or sometimes I would have a call in the morning. So it was a pretty set day. Of course, the gym is in there. We go to the gym as well. And then the end of the night, and then you wake up and do it again. And when that was over, my day was in the bed. It wasn't nothing else much to it. It was in the bed. I even like started getting a little weight, not a lot, but my boyfriend was like, that pudge right there, we ain't rocking with that pudge right there. Like, come on now, get it together. So like, I literally just stopped because I didn't know what to do, and I felt like at the time, like, I'm such a Like at the time, I thought that I needed somebody to give me instructions, because with track, I had instructions. I had to work out. With school, I had instructions. I know I had to be in class at this time. With everything throughout my life, I always had a set of knowing instructions, and I knew what I needed to do. And so when it was on me, it was like, what do I do? And I just overthought things so bad, to the point where I would be like, well, I don't know if I can start this, because where do I start? And you just start. Like the same way I did it with trading, I could have did that with anything else, like where it was pulling myself out of that, but I just felt like I didn't know where to start, so I did nothing. So my day literally consisted of laying in bed, take a shower, get something to eat, then I'm going back in bed and I'm trying to go to sleep, because when I'm asleep, I'm not thinking about all the stuff that's going on, you know?
And that's definitely like a problem a lot of young, especially people that maybe just graduated high school, just graduated college, or did that and was an athlete, right? Or just anything where you had structure. Like all our life we're raised in structure, right? And it almost sets us up for failure unless you're going into more structure. So if you graduate high school and college and go straight into a job, 9-to-5 job, you have your structure. You know what I'm saying? You have your schedule, someone's telling you what to do. But then when you get in this world and then you're by yourself, you know, like Kino was, she was MLM, that was her structure. Once that went out, she had nothing else to do, and she thought that she was failing at something. And that's not necessarily the case, but she just didn't know where to go and what to do. And I think that's another reason why I want to have this platform, is to let people know, like, yo, that's common. Like, you did not fail because you don't know what you want to do, right? And a lot of people would say, don't do something you don't know, you're not sure of, so you won't, you know what I'm saying, waste your time or waste your money or anything like that. Which to a certain extent, you know, that's a very plausible thing to do. Like, you don't want to jump into something you don't have no school. Like, if you don't know anything about college, don't know what you want to do with college, you know, you might not want to jump straight into it. And I think that's a lot of people deal with that, and that's something that I think people can learn that is okay. Like, you don't have to know what you want to do right away, because just like many of us, especially as young people, with social media and with just the way the world's going, we want instant gratification, and we think things are supposed to happen right away. Or even maybe, like in her case, you know, things did happen easily. Like, oh, I'm good at track, scholarship, boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Everything happened right away. When she first started trading, oh, I'm making money, I'm good. Right away. So she said, bump it, let's take a leap of faith. Let's jump out here. She jumped out here on the leap of faith, and boom, things hit a wall. So now she's thinking, okay, this isn't working. I failed. Let's restart. On top of her structure just vanishing out of nowhere, now she's really lost. You know what I'm saying? Like she said, she's surrounded by all these people. Everyone loves her. You know what I'm saying? So they say, or, you know, they're around her. But people around you loving you isn't everything. You still have to know yourself and know what you want to do with your life. And that's something she was just trying to figure out herself. And I just want people to realize that, like, that's common. Yeah, so, you know, MLM's going, now you're just here day to day, and, you know, you're in bed, you know what I'm saying? You're in bed every day, all day. So it's like, obviously you're not now. So, like, how'd you move forward from that? And, like, what'd you do to get yourself out of that isolation?
So, like I said, I was the preacher's kid. So, of course, God and religion was always a factor in my life. And my parents aren't like the beating down your door, you need you. Like, they let me make my mistakes. And they didn't judge me for my mistakes. And they never said anything wrong about my mistakes. And they were such like a big covering around me. And when I got up here, I kind of shied even away from them. Like, they would just say, why aren't you answering the phone? Like, why aren't you doing this? Like, he can tell you right now, I probably call my mama 5 times a day. Like, that's normal for me. Like, I talk to her and my dad, like, all day, every day. So I kind of just separated myself. One, because I felt like I was failing them and failing myself. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I took this leap of faith without even consulting them. And I knew that they would have told me not to do that right away, not move up here, but not quit my job, because I had a work from home job, and I easily could have still worked from home. They were going to transfer me. Like, I easily could have did that. I was just so caught up in my head over the image on social media, and nobody would have ever known I was at work. I was at home. Like you know, like when I look back at it, it was so dumb. But that's just how I was thinking at the time, and you know, just young and just doing stuff. But what kind of helped me get out of that is I've always been like back and forth with my relationship with God. Like, it was like I was all in, or I was kind of in, or I wasn't in. And it like, I always believed in him, but my actions wouldn't reflect it. I would do things that I know morally I really wasn't, or I just didn't agree with, but I was doing it just to appease myself, I guess, or just to, I don't know, maybe fit in. I don't even know which word to really say, but it's always kind of been just a back and forth thing. And just a good quote from Kendrick Lamar is like, even when I couldn't find God, I still could find myself in a song. And I love music. Like, not enough to make it, but I love it as far as like listening to it. And I always try to get messages from it. And I started listening to Tim's, and I started like doing Uber Eats because I'm like, here, like, get up, you gotta make some money. Like, I kind of just was like, all right, now kind of start snapping out of it a little bit. And I started to open up to my parents a little more about what was going on, so they kind of helped me snap out of it. But listening to Tim's, and it was just this one song I had on repeat. I mean, the whole thing, of course, but Interference was on repeat, and I just felt like, when I say I would cry every time that song came on, because I felt like it was God just kind of telling me, like, come back, like, I'm here, like, it's no shame here, it's no pain here, like, I got you if you just come back. I don't know why you so ashamed to just tell me I need you, like, or just to turn back to me. And so it took a little minute. It took a while of crying in the car listening to that song. And so where I just finally was just like, I just need to pray. Like, that's just the main thing I need to do. I need to pray. Like, I need to read. I need to pray. I need to get myself back surrounded with my people who I know genuinely have my best interests at heart. My mom, my dad, my sister. One of my best friends, Shamira, I always know I could tell her any and everything. Like, she helped a lot as well. Like, just opening up to my boyfriend a little bit more about what I was going through, because he was in the same house and I still wasn't really telling him. I just wasn't talking to him. And, you know, that was a little rocky for us, but I wasn't talking to him. I was just like, you're not going to understand. That was my whole thing with everybody. You're not going to understand. As if they haven't been through time. As if he wasn't here with me going through it too. Like, you know, so it took me, like, hearing that over and over and just kind of getting better in a place of my relationship with God. And then I would listen to Michael Todd a lot. I really love his speaking and the way he talks and the way he breaks things down. So that kind of helped me get more focused on what to do next, because my main thing that I would pray all the time would just be like, God, what's my purpose? Like, what do you have me here for? Like, this isn't working right now, so what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what am I supposed to do from here? And then we kind of just fell into it where it's just like, okay, let's just do our own trading company. Like, we're not doing multi-level marketing. We're strictly going to teach people how to trade. We're going to charge them. We're going to make our website. We're going to make our education legit, like, which was already legit. We're going to upload it. We're going to start taking steps to be a lot more independent away from that and create our own structure. And that's what we began to do. Like we started, Blueface Affiliated was there since the beginning, but we really started to solidify what Blueface Affiliated was outside of that multi-level marketing space. And I always knew I was in the right space of helping people with trading, because anytime I felt like quitting or anytime I felt like leaving, then somebody would, hey, like, I just had this breakthrough. Hey, I was able to cut down hours on my job because of what you taught me. Hey, so I'm like, okay, so God, I am helping people. Like, I'm doing what you want me to do, but I just don't think I was doing it. I was trying to do it in my timing. I was trying to rush it pretty much. Yeah. And that's not what you wanted at the time, and that's not what I needed at the time. So to get out of that, it was a lot of prayer. It was a lot of listening to songs. It was a lot of more so, it wasn't accidental, it was more incidental isolation, but it wasn't isolation from the people who cared about me. It was just isolation from kind of like the things of like social media and what people wanted to see from me, and like just the world and just the pressure that it can put on you just being so young and feeling like you gotta be rich right now.
Do everything.
Like, yeah, everybody feels like you gotta be rich right now. Like, you gotta be, because we see all these people who seem like they just living the best life. Yeah, and you want to live it too. Things. Like, who doesn't want nice things? Who doesn't want to live in a nice place and give their kids a good start? And you know, who doesn't want that? And I felt like, you know, I was trying to rush it, of course. But
and like you were saying, like, you definitely have to go through these things, like, because everything you went through is what's helping you to succeed today. Because you never went through that. If you would have moved to Charlotte and kept going up and up and up, that would have been a good thing. But eventually, I could be wrong, but there, you know what I'm saying, eventually something's going to happen, or there's going to be some type of fall. Like she said, the fall might have been bigger. Yeah. And then, you know what I'm saying, she might have left from Uptown, went to a mortgage. She might have did something. But even if she would have did that, she would have had to figure it out. You weren't talking to nobody when you didn't tell your mom what you was going through, when you didn't tell your best friend Shamir, when you didn't tell your boyfriend that was living with you, going through the same thing with you. you was in bed, you was a little bit depressed, maybe not fully depressed, but you were going
depressed.
through, you know what I'm saying? So you was going through things, and then the moment things changed is when you started infiltrating people in your community again. And for those who know me, it's like I'm huge on community. I believe that we're not put in this world to live it by ourselves. I really believe that we're supposed to have some type of community around us. And any dream you have that you can get by yourself isn't a big enough dream. You need people to help you and get up there. And the moment you started talking to your mom a little bit, okay, she encouraged you. Now you're getting out of bed. You know what I'm saying? That's step one. You know what I'm saying? Then you start talking to your best friend. She's like, yeah, come on, you can do this, you can do that. Okay, now I'm about to do some Uber Eats. I'm not going to be in the room all day. Right. Yeah, I go to the gym, but I'm not just about to sit and soak. And the moment things finally changed is when you told your boyfriend living in the same house with you the troubles you was going. Because who knows, y'all both just lost that second income. Exactly. So y'all could have been thinking the exact same thing. And if you never spoke to him, y'all might not came together and had an epiphany to say, hey, let's take our brand serious. Like, we've been working for these companies, these MLMs. We've been making our money, but we've been working for these companies, making them money. Let's finally take our brand serious. And if you might have never spoke with him, let's say things would have ended because y'all, things got rocky and y'all never talked. Y'all might not do anything. But the moment you started bringing your community back into your life and y'all started talking about things and figuring things out, boom. I got it. Let's do this. Let's put our brand on the forefront and let's run it. And now, obviously, like you said, you're here talking to me today because you're out of the isolation. You're not meant to do this life alone. And if you do it alone, it's gonna be hard. you might get far. There's a lot of people that'll tell y'all here that they got what they got by themselves, and like power to them. You know what I'm saying? Right. Everybody is different, but if you ask the majority of people, like, they got where they are through connections in the community around them. So beyond, what we've been talking about, but especially about the community, like, what do you think, how do you think that did help you?
Well, just bringing them in, I felt like I wasn't going through it by myself no more, because I feel like I chose to go through it by myself. I didn't have to, because these people always were going to support me, and they weren't going to judge me, and they weren't going to say, oh, you did fail. Like, they were never going to have that reaction, and I don't think I ever thought that they would. It was just more so me. In your head. Yeah, it was just in my head. So, like, bringing them back into, like, what I was doing and what I was going through and how I was thinking, it definitely pushed things in the right direction. Because my boyfriend, he's like, he's more of the business mind. Like, I'm more of the public speaker and the behind the scenes, make the website, make sure like all that stuff is done.
Everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. And he is more so like, he'll think of the ideas and it'll always usually work out 9 times out of 10. So once I kind of told him, it was just more so, he was just like, okay, well, look, like, this is what we're gonna do. Like, this is what we can do. And he just kind of started pushing me, like, make the website. And like, sometimes he would tell me to do things, I would, procrastinate. And I'd be like, he like, no, look, go ahead. Like, have you done it? Like, he was kind of staying on me a little more. And that helped push me out of it, because I was like, you are right. Like, I'm not finna just sit there. I'm not finna just soak over, well, it's not gonna fix anything. Like, that's not gonna help anything. So that community brought me back to who I was, and I feel like through that, I gained a lot more confidence in who I was, and I didn't really care about this, what people thought on social media. I didn't really care about if people would join, if they thought I had this or if they thought I had that. And then business really started kind of booming. Like, we were raising prices and people was still coming, and I was like, if you go from working a 9 to 5, like, pretty much all your life, I didn't really work until like college really, but if you go from working and that's your check, and then sometimes you sit back as an entrepreneur and realize, I really just made money from talking, or just my mind, or just this, and it kind of gets like, wow, like, I really can do this, and you kind of start believing more in yourself, because people believe in you. Like, nobody's gonna pay me $750 if they don't believe in me. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, and they were paying. I would have people join and they never met me before. They saw a TikTok and they clicked to buy it, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, this is really working. Like, this is really going on. So it kind of gave me more confidence in what I was doing, and knowing, okay, like, you are on the right path. You just kind of tried to speed it up, but you are on the right path. You are starting to walk in your purpose. There's a lot more in my purpose that I know I have to accomplish, and a lot more that I want to accomplish. Like, I want to open a school, and I want to, not a school, but like an after school type of thing for kids, and have like tech people there, finance people there, athletic people there. Like, I want to make sure they can learn every different area, kids in our community. And so like there's so much more I want to get done, and I was so lost at that time, but out of that lostness, it kind of pushed me more into my purpose. After getting out of it, after really taking the steps that I needed for me, which was God, which was bringing my community back, like he said, and prayer, music, all the things that kind of moved me to get back on track and get back on path of where I need to be. And now like that routine is back in routine, and it's not a routine that somebody else made for me or told me I need to do. It's my own routine. Like, so it's like, okay, I don't need somebody to tell me the structure. I can structure myself. Like, I don't need somebody to tell me to do X, Y, and Z. I can do it myself. And I just gained a lot more confidence out of that. Like, I feel like I went through, well, like Tyler the Creator said, a second puberty at like 24. Like, I went through a second puberty at like 24. That's what I feel like. I kind of really became more of who I am. Like, I wasn't as confident when I was in high school, college, or things like that. I was a little more, I was fun. Like, I wanted to joke around and laugh and talk to people, but I wasn't really confident in exactly who I was and where I wanted to be. And that last year really pushed me and catapulted me into being more confident in who I was, and just really starting to lean into my purpose and lean into my relationship with God and lean into my community, and not think that I have to go through all these things by myself, because everybody's going through them. You don't.
You definitely
like, you
don't.
know, you aren't the only one that's been through it. I promise you. As much as you think you are, you're not.
And it takes courage to ask people. So I spoke to somebody recently, and they were just kind of saying that we were speaking about how in our community specifically, and everyone goes through it, but a lot of times people hold things in, and people feel like the people around them, either they can't help, they got too much on their plate, whatever the case may be. And it definitely takes courage to come out of your shell and ask these people for help. And you're not always asking for monetary help, or you're not always asking for really any physical type of help. You just need someone to talk to. But sometimes, like you said, especially when it goes to your parents, I just finished promising this, I promised you the world, and I didn't give it to you in a year. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give it to you in a year, right? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? And luckily, you know, with parents, they're definitely going to understand it. They raised you your whole life. But even with friends that maybe you promised things to, or you just told the stories or your dreams that you want to do, and when you didn't achieve it in a year, or you didn't achieve it in 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter. There's no time limit on when to achieve things. That's another thing. Putting time limits on things is what's going to hinder you. Because how are you going to say you're going to do something that you've never done before in a certain time? How do you know? You've never done it before. But I was saying it definitely takes courage to ask these people, because just like it took courage for you to quit your job and not tell your parents and come out to Charlotte, it takes even more courage to tell your parents, hey, I quit my job, I came out to Charlotte, and now I don't know what to do. I need your help. And I mean, it's very crazy to you once you finally came out and you did it, and now you got all these people to help. So before you got the courage to, reach out and start opening up to your boyfriend, or, talking to your parents and calling your friends and that, did they notice anything? Like you said, you call your mom 4 or 5 times a day. You know what I'm saying? Then you go through this period of time where you don't speak to her, or you and your boyfriend, y'all live together, y'all talk about everything all day, and then you go through a period of time and you aren't talking as much. Like, did they notice it, and did you notice them noticing it, or when they noticed it, did they talk? Did they ask you? Like, did they probe you? Like, what did that look like from their side? Where you was going through this?
They definitely noticed. My mom is like, I guess the empath is the word to say it, but anything that's going on with her kids,
she feel it.
She knows. Mother. She's either gonna have a dream, or she's gonna have a feeling, or she just knows. Like, her and my dad, they just know. So of course they're like, what's going on? Like, are y'all okay? Like, financially, is it good? Is it bad? Like, what's going on? Like, is the company really thriving? Like, they would kind of ask questions, but they know me. And they know that I'm not going to open up until I want to open up. Like, I'm not going to tell them what's going on until I want to tell them. So they would definitely ask a good bit, and they would call and just pray and just speak positive things. They would send me little things. They would send me little messages, little videos, because they knew at heart that I was probably going through a hard time, and I was. And then my boyfriend, he definitely noticed, because it was like every other day, like, what's wrong? And I got aggravated, because I'm like, stop asking me what's wrong. I told you nothing's wrong. Like, just leave me alone. But like, you don't go from,
something wrong.
Right, like, you don't go from just being up at them. Like, I'm a very active person like 24/7. I'm like a little kid, really, like without the energy drink. Like I am like go go go, happy happy happy. Like I don't have many bad days, and I had bad months like back to back. So he's like, "What's wrong? Like what's going on with you?" And like I just didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to open up. I didn't want to tell him. So I was just like, nothing. I'm okay. I'm good. Nothing. And a funny time is like I was kind of excited at one point because we were supposed to go to California.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just so happy. I was like, okay, we got enough money. Like, we're going to go. I haven't been out there. And then I got a cyst on my back. And, like, y'all, that's the worst pain I ever had in my life. I didn't know they could hurt like that. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't move. I was, like, crying. Like, I was just like, God, please get this out of me. Like, please. And I had to go get it drained, like, the day before it was time to go to California. And so, of course, I can't fly. I'm not going nowhere. And you know, he went, he enjoyed it, and I was just like, and
I'm still going.
And I got mad, but I told him to go. Like he was like, "You want me to stay?" And I was like, "No." But in my head, I was like, "Why would you ask me? Because you know I want you to stay." And my cousin came up here, and she kind of took care of me, changed my little bandages and everything. Shout out, Michaela, I love you. So she came up here, and it was just nice spending time with her, and that's when I kind of felt like, okay, yeah, I need because my family is just like my biggest thing. And I think another reason why I kind of was pushed into isolation is because this was the first time where I wasn't 5 minutes up the street from some of my family.
Okay, yeah.
Like in Greenville, my sister was literally like straight shot turn. There's her apartment. I could go to her house. I can see my niece, my nephews, my babies. Like that's my safe spot. Like my family is just my safe spot. Anytime I'm around them, it's like nothing's going on. Like everything is released. And when I was up here, there was no safe spot to go to. Like, I just had my boyfriend. I was just like, you're not enough. And I want my mommy. I want my sister. I want my babies. Like, so.
I definitely get it, though. Just moving out there on your own is like.
It was scary.
One, you paying bills now, first time by yourself on your own, and you don't have nobody. Like, you just out here in a brand new city.
Right.
And Charlotte's a pretty big city. It can be intimidating. So it's like, you don't have nobody, so I definitely understand like just having a sister come up here.
It
and
was
like,
my cousin. It was like a breath of fresh air because I was just like her, and then my best friend Jordan, like they came up here and the baby, and I was just so happy just to have them around, and I felt like such like a calming, and I just felt like okay, like I don't know, just kind of made me feel like okay, I can do this, like we can get through this because I do have those people. I'm just isolating myself from them. Like they're still there. They're still texting me. They're still trying. Are you okay? Like,
they never go nowhere.
They're never going nowhere. But I'm just making it to where I'm by myself, and I'm just pretty much putting myself more so in a pity party because I'm like, no. Like I want to cry by myself. Like I don't know. Like I just want to throw the pity party by myself. So that was a little funny incident because I was just like, it kind of made me realize, okay, I do need my community back.
Exactly.
And I kind of started to slowly get out of that isolation after that. I was mad about not going to Cali. I was very upset.
He gonna pay you back.
Right, no, we going. Yeah, he got to take me for at least a week. At least a week. But that was just a time where I kind of was just like, okay, girl, like your family is here. They got you.
You can do this.
Like, yeah, you can do this. Like, y'all got this.
No, it's definitely, man. That's beautiful, man. Cause it's like you said, like a lot of people just want to sit in that self-pity and want to, let it soak in and stuff like that. But I mean, you got to realize at the same time, like, even once you get in this isolation, it's like for example, the podcast is like, I want you to learn some tools. Hopefully, many people out there will be able to learn from her story and things like that. But at the same time, like, you still have to get up and do these things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you still, like, just because your community is there, like, they are there, and trust me, like, they have shoulders for you to lean on. They have open ears. And if they don't, you might need another community. You might need some more people, you know what I'm saying? But you still have to get up and you still have to make a change in your routine, your life, like your life. Cause you really gotta want it. And hopefully your community can come and guide you and bring you back. You know what I'm saying? Luckily she knew what she wanted to do out of it. Luckily she knew that, okay, this is where I know what I want to do. I just hit a rough patch and now I'm kind of questioning what I want to do. Yeah. But deep down, she knew this is what she wanted to do because she wanted to help people. And this isn't her end all be all, but at the moment, she knows what she wants to do. So hopefully you have a good enough community around you to, you know what I'm saying, hey, start it up. get going, you know what I'm saying? But you still have to do that.
Exactly.
And you did that, you know what I'm saying? That's something to be very proud of, because unfortunately, so everybody don't make it out of isolation. But that's why we're here today, to try to give some advice so that we can help as many people as we can to get out of it, man.
You can make it out. I got faith. I promise.
Definitely do. Definitely
I
do.
didn't even know I could feel like that.
I'm saying.
Until I did. So you definitely can make it out. You really just gotta look at yourself too, because although like it wasn't just the MLM feeling. Like there were things that I did that caused me to get in that space as well. So I couldn't just blame. Like once you get away from trying to find something to blame from where you are, that's when you can start to fix where you are.
Self-assessment.
Exactly, because you can't fix anybody else. You can't fix a thing. The only thing you can focus on is you. So once you start realizing that every single thing that's happening in your life is your fault. Every single thing. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it looks like it was somebody else's fault. It's your fault. Like it was your decision to heal from it. It's your decision to change how you think about it, how you act, like the way you carry yourself, or whatever it is that may be causing you to be in that place. But you have to see that it's you, and you can't just put the blame on situations or things that happen, because everybody got a sob story. Nobody cares about your sob story. And to be honest, at the end of the day, and once I started realizing that, it was just like, okay, like you gotta fix you, and you gotta want these things, and you have to take the steps every single day. Because like some days I did still want to get back in bed. I did still want to like, no, I don't want to go out in Uber. I don't want to be out there all day doing all this, knowing I needed the money at the time, like, you know. And I just had to force myself to think about the bigger picture and where I wanted to be and how I wanted to be once I got out of this, and how I didn't want to go back. Like,
exactly.
I can't change things that might happen in my life. Like, you know, if I do, you know, get a little sad again, but now I feel like I have the right tools to get through it, and I know how to get myself out of it without just pushing myself further and further into it.
Exactly. Because nobody's perfect. We're not
No.
on here to tell you that, like, hey, we went through this and now we're perfect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's definitely not it. Like, for, you know, no one knows what the future holds. But like she said, like, she's went through it once, and if she goes through it again, she knows how to maneuver around it. She knows God. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to help her out of praying, and that's what's going to help her out. She knows the community around her is there when she's ready to talk and when she's ready to talk. Then she knows herself, and she'll have to look in the mirror and see what's really wrong with her, and she has to fix it. So she knows that we're not on here to say we're perfect, but we're on here just to help you, because we've been through it. We might go through it again, and we know some of you are probably going through it, and we just want to come on and give you some tools to put in your toolbox, so when you go through these isolations, you'll be able to find yourself out of it. No, but appreciate you definitely for giving me your time. Appreciate it. But what I like to do, like, I don't like to waste your time. So at the same time, you're on here and you have a business. So I want you to go ahead and put out, you know, all your social media. I want you to just go ahead, tell everybody, you know, what you got to offer, or whatever you want to do.
Shekinah Victoria on pretty much everything. SHEKINAH, and then Victoria is spelled like the regular way. That's on Instagram, that's on TikTok, Facebook is just Shekinah Victoria Wilder, and then our website is www.bluefaceaffiliated.com. So if you want any advice on trading, or if you want some information, you can DM me. I'm very personable, so I'll be glad to set up a call. Like, I'm not just gonna say go to my website, like, but you can go on there if you want to see, you know, what we've been working on and how we've been helping people through their trading journey and helping people become profitable within the market, and really see that, oh, this is the way to make money. Oh, I can be profitable. I can leave my job, like, you know. And so, yeah, if you want any more information, you can check out my socials, you can check out our website, and you can hit me up on Instagram in the DMs, and I will definitely respond back to you.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you coming on.